Good evening. Yes, I'm back. And I'm still on the Rochdale night trunk. As ever, a little bit late getting out, but it can't be helped. I'll still be there for, what, between 9:30 and 9:45, so anything up to an hour early. Right, somebody said to me, or hinted at, or whatever, about doing something about adapting a night shift. So I'll just tell you how I cope with night shift. Now, this is going by what somebody said in the comments, but I was talking to a young lad the other day who's a day driver, and he said he tried nights for a week, couldn't handle it, gave it up. So some people, it's just not their thing for whatever reason. Now, I do hear a lot of people saying they get really tired, you know, and that's how they struggle with it, you know, staying awake towards end of shift and all this. Now, how I do it is I adjust my body clock, so I'm basically conning my body clock into thinking it's still on days. And how I do that is, it's like, what'll happen is, I'll finish this shift maybe 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So then I'll go home, whereas many people just go home, have something to eat, and then go to bed. And I've seen them do it on late shift as well. Late shift, back shift, whatever you want to call it. The same routine for me applies to late shift and night shift, but especially night shift. So, if I finish here at 4 o'clock, say, I get home for about 4:10. Go take the dog for a walk, have something to eat, and then I won't go to bed until, say, 8 o'clock. Then, generally, I'll set my alarm for 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'm up for work. By the time I've had a cup of coffee, sorted myself out, set off for work at about 5:15. Usually pop into somewhere to get something for my lunch unless I've made it myself, and then start work again at 6. So basically what I'm doing there is the same as what you'd do on day shift. I come home and I have some me time. Like, if you was on day shift and you was finishing at 4 o'clock, you wouldn't go to bed at 5, would you? You know, you'd stay awake till whatever time, 9, 10, whatever. So that's just how I do it. You basically slide in your body clock 12 hours to one side. Now, another reason for doing that is, let's say I go to bed at 5 o'clock. Then I sleep maybe, 7 hours. I'm awake at 12 noon. I'm not starting work till 6. So you sat around waiting for 6 hours before you go to work. Now, by the time you get to the end of your shift, say it's a 10-hour shift, you've been awake 16 hours. If you've got a 12-hour shift, you've been awake 18 hours. Now you're driving back to your yard at the end of a 12-hour shift. You've been driving through the night, you've been awake 18 hours. Yeah, you're going to be damn tired. And you don't really want to be driving like that, because if you have an accident, if you're nodding off, you're going to be in serious trouble. You're looking at the very least, losing your licence. If there's serious injury, or God forbid you kill somebody, you're looking at jail time. So You know, you've got to be a bit box clever about it. So, like I say, I mean, when I was working at Gateshead, some of my shifts were like easy 13 hours. If you've been away like 6 hours before your shift, that's a hell of a long night. A hell of a long night. And something that you really don't want to be doing. So, like I say, stay in bed till maybe an hour or two before your start time, just like you would do on day shift. And then you'll find you're not getting as tired coming back. I think there's a psychological thing as well, especially in like the winter months where you're not seeing much daylight. Your mind is telling you you should be asleep at this time, but once you get into routine, it'll not bother you. But initially, you know, I think there's a psychological element to it as well. It helps in summer where the periods of darkness are much shorter. You know, I think another thing is the psychological side of it is when you're watching like a beautiful sunrise and all that, it'll kind of perk you up a bit. Just my opinion on it, don't take my word for it. You know. Now, another thing is watching your diet. I'm not saying just go hell-bent on the ultimate fitness diet. I don't like that. You know, you just need to keep your energy levels up. So, basically, a couple of things that I do is, like, say, if I'm going to bring homemade pasta with me, I'll make it with whole grain pasta. You know, because it's slow release energy. Swap my bread out in my butties for whole grain bread. Again, slow release energy. I mean, that just keeps you going. You know, hydration is another one. You know, there's a big school of thought that proper hydration levels, you know, improve your attention span, and I tend to find that's true. Maybe it's coincidence, but I've always got like 3 bottles of water with me, the flavoured stuff. You know, apart from the fact I like it, it tastes nice. You know, I've got 1 in the door pocket down here, I've got 2 in the fridge. So it's just the way I do it. Now, a lot of people talk about caffeine. Now, this is a double-edged sword. Like, I get to Rochdale tonight, and yeah, if I'm parked there 2-3 hours, well, yeah, I'll be backwards and forwards to the coffee machine. But caffeine stays in your system for up to 6 hours. Now, I won't have a coffee after midnight, because when I'm going to bed 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I don't want any caffeine in my system whatsoever. I want to get my head down, nod straight off. If I've had a coffee, my last coffee, say midnight, I'm still wide awake at 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm getting back. You know, more often than not at the moment, I'm getting back before 4 o'clock. But I'm still quite perky, like, you know. Energy drinks, I would avoid. I really would. They're not good for you. You know, again, laced with caffeine, and they're not doing your body any favours. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. But, I mean, I do know, when I worked at the petrol station, there was a guy who used to come in every night, and he would get 2 4-packs of Monster Energy, the big cans, and every night he was buying it like 8 cans, and after a while he disappeared. And then he came in, it was about 3-4 months later, and he looked absolutely shocking. And I said, where you been? He says, oh, he says, I got put on sick. He says, something wrong with my heart. And they blamed it all on the amount of energy drinks I was drinking. So I said, oh, well, you'll not be touching them again, will you? He says, no. He says, that's it. So, I mean, this was an extreme case, but like I say, too much caffeine. I mean, these caffeine tablets like Pro Plus avoid like the plague. I mean, what'll happen is, if you take too many of them, your heart will start racing and everything. You know, you're basically overdosing on caffeine, and they will not improve your attention span. You will still be dead tired. You know, you'll be all over the place. You won't be able to concentrate, your head will be spinning and all this, but your eyes won't close. But you'll still be as good as asleep behind the wheel. You're not improving anything. You know what I mean? So you're just going to make it worse. Now, some people say if they had like a 2-hour wait, like I do tonight. I know a couple of lads who do Leicester. They park in a quiet area and get their head down for an hour or two. Now, some people can do that. Personally, it doesn't work for me. If I go to sleep, I want to be asleep all the way through. If I go to sleep for an hour, then I wake up, I'm just like a bear with a sore head. You know what I mean? So, no, I keep myself awake. Now, if you are feeling tired and you're on your way back to the yard, right? Unofficially, you have a God-given right to stop if you're starting to feel yourself going. And nobody in the right mind is going to bollock you for stopping, getting out, having some fresh air, you know, walk around your vehicle a few times, you know, just perk yourself up. I know some companies don't like it having a break for like security reasons and what have you. Obviously some things you've got on are theft risk and all this. But I mean, they're talking about 45s and all of this, or whatever. 5 minutes fresh air just to wake you up, and it does work, especially in winter when it's bloody cold. You will perk up very, very dramatically. You know, just get out, you know, have a walk round. So, you know, I don't care what anybody says to me. If I'm tired, I stop. That is it. Wake myself up. It's very rare I need to do it, but I do it. On this run, I mean, at the moment, I've got a couple of minor diversions on. So, you're looking at, like last night, it was 3 hours 5 minutes getting back. So, I generally stop halfway, usually Ripon or Catterick. I only pull off the A1 and park on, go over the roundabouts, park on the slip road facing onto the A1, and I get out, hide in the darkness, do what a man's got to do, and 5 minutes fresh air. You know what I mean? Generally speaking, I don't need that 5 minutes, but it's just a habit I've got. Where's he going? This car, because he's not going to give way. Come on, idiot! Oh, you fucking knob. You slow down for him and then... Oh, I wasn't going to flash him in. He's gone too slow. Anyway. Little things like that. I mean... Everybody's got their own way of dealing with night shift. But for me, that's the way I do it. And it works for me. You know. But you can still get very, very tired on day shift. You know, in fact, I get more tired on day shift than I do on nights. Because a lot of the time, you're dealing with heavier traffic, more hazards around you, stuff going on. You know, that takes it out of you mentally. You know, on night shift, you've still got to have the same level of alertness, but there's less going on around you. So it kind of makes it a little bit easier on you mentally. Now, one last thing I'll say is, I'm told it's not very common to an extreme, but a couple of lads I know at Gateshead, they're on vitamin D supplements. One of them gets his on prescription. So that's come about. I don't know. A lot of it, some of it's to do with lack of sunlight. Here's my mate Kev. He's a supervisor at the Gateshead job. Smashing fella. Get on really well with him. Never pulls rank on me or anything. So, right, vitamin D deficiency, lack of sunlight, that could affect you in winter, and it can make you tired, can make you a little bit achy on your joints and stuff like that, and it can make you quite irritable, you know, moody as I put it. So vitamin D supplements, I mean, two of them I know do take it. One on prescription and the other one buys his own. But, I mean, a lot of the time, stuff like cereals, they're all fortified with any amount of vitamins and all of that. Orange juice generally is fortified with vitamins. You know, you generally get enough in your diet and a bit of daylight. It don't need to be so hot it's cracking the flags for you to get vitamin D. You just need daylight. So in winter, I mean, if you're basically going to work in dark, coming home in dark, not seeing any daylight, well, might be worth taking a vitamin D supplement, you know what I mean? So it's all about, a lot of it's to do with just being sensible. You know what I mean? Take precaution, make sure you get your sleep, the right kind of sleep, make sure you're looking after yourself physically, and you should pretty much be alright. So that's just my little bit of advice for you. Right, I'm going to crack on, try and make up a bit of time, because we have got a closure at the beginning of the M1. It's junction 43 A1 where it splits, and it's the start of the M1. So I mean, I can go straight down the A1 and pick up the M62 that way. It's only 5 minutes on my journey, but when they start closing it where it's 4 lanes wide, I mean, you start getting a bit of chaos and everybody's pushing and shoving and all of this, like, you know, and it's just a pain in the arse you just don't need, like, you know. So I say I've got all the time in the world to play with. I mean, I'm not under any pressure whatsoever. So, and that's another thing about night shift. Generally speaking, you've not got as much pressure as you do on days. You know, things are... I've found the majority of places I've worked on nights, it's much more laid back than day shift. So, that's that. Right, I'm going to crack on and let's see what's what further down the road. Well, we're just, we're coming up to Scotch Corner, just past Darlington, and I was merrily listening to Planet Rock as you do, and then a traffic report come on. Said M62 eastbound, but didn't say where. All they said was M62 eastbound. Now fortunately we're going westbound on the way to Rochdale, but currently the M62 eastbound, which is what I'll need on the way back, is at a standstill, all traffic being held due to a serious fuel spillage. Now I don't know how long that's going to take to clear up, and I don't know where it is, but if it's on my route then I'm going to see it on the way down. So the gaffer at Rochdale may be able to check on his computer before I leave what's going on. This could mean I'll need my alternative route coming back, which is M62 westbound for, I think it's about 4 or 5 junctions. Pick up the M61, follow that all the way up to Preston, jump on the M6 up to Carlisle, and then A69 from Carlisle over to Westerhope in Newcastle, then just a short hop up the A1 to Cramlington. It's about anything from 15 to 30 minutes longer depending on things like roadworks and lane closures and what have you, but it's no great shakes really. I mean, I've got 15-minute delays on this route that I'm doing now with two minor diversions tonight, so to get a clean run up the M6 it's probably only going to cost me about 15 minutes more, so I'm not too concerned. But fortunately at Rochdale, most of the time if I go see Rob, he'll be able to find out on his computer system what's going on. He's pretty damn good like that. He is a former driver, so he knows the crack, like, you know. So that's something to look forward to. But we won't know more until we actually get on the M62 westbound and see what's what. So, but I do know, even at this time, if that M62 stops, with volume of traffic, it can be utter chaos. It's bad enough when they start putting the roadworks out and everything backs up. That's with one or two lanes open, but you know, if they shut the entire thing, well, it's going to be gridlock. And depending on where it is, it'll be chaos in surrounding areas as well. So, but a fuel spillage isn't generally something that you can worry about purely on night shift. I mean, that can happen 24 hours a day. You know, it's just one of them things. Same with accidents. You know, in fact, a lot of the time, you're more likely to encounter delays due to accidents during the day because sheer volume of traffic, accidents are more likely to happen. But, hey, what do I know? I just drive a truck. Right, got 50 miles to go to junction 43. And it's now 7:45. They've been pretty sharp putting this closure on as well. So 49 mile, 55 minutes. I'm going to get there for about 20 to 9. Scheduled to go out at 8:30. So I might make it by the skin of my teeth, I might not. Like I say, no great shakes. So, and I'm looking forward to absolutely torrential rain going over Saddleworth. So it's forecast heavy rain all evening at Rochdale, so Saddleworth will be lively. But it is what it is. It's an exposed area, highest motorway in England. It is going to get lively up there. Right, let's crack on. See what happens when we get to Leeds. Well, it was 25 to 9 and there was sharp as hell with these roadworks again. A lot of places, you know, they'll not start, if they forecast it for 8:30, they'll not start putting them out till 10 to 9. But Leeds, the damn sharp light, you know. And as you can see, the tailback is building quite a lot. So, just looking for teammate Michael. He was about 10 minutes behind me, I would guess, because he was locking the warehouse up. More than once I've seen him come flying past all the traffic and then cut in at this point. But look at this one, he's flying here. He nearly hit the cones then. How far down are these putting cones out? It looks like the M1 is still open. Yeah, it is. Right. So we've beaten the actual closure. I can actually get on the M1. Now we should beat it tomorrow because Fridays, they're generally the collections drives are quicker back on a Friday. Right. We've beaten it. So we can get down the M1, so that's, I'll be up for what, 4 minutes, maybe 5. No great shakes. 44 mile to go. As long as we don't hit any major closures or out, we should be fine. I've seen signs for M62 eastbound, junction 34 to 35, which is over there towards Selby, but we're going that way. We come on at junction 29. 34, if memory serves me right, M62 is the one down there for the A1. So 34 to 35, that should be the one where Ferry Bridge Services is. So if that's the one, I'm not saying it is, but that's the one that's signposted, because that's the one that would affect us if we was turning up to use the M62, if you know what I mean. But if it's eastbound from 29 that way, it's coming this way, it'll not be signposted for us because it'll not affect us. So we'll have to keep his eyes peeled and see what's what. But if that's right, and it's 34 to 35 where the fuel spillage was, well, that's not going to bother us, because by the time we're coming back they'll have diversions in place and all of that anyway. Well, diversions that'll affect them at junction 34. Like I say, we're coming back, we come off at 29, so that'll not bother us, not in the slightest. They'll have a diversion up in place for anybody going that way. They'll come up the A1, off the M62, onto the A1, pick up the A63 towards Selby, and then that takes them back round to junction 35, which is quite an easy diversion because it's all A roads. As you can tell, I grew up in this neck of the woods, West Yorkshire, so I'm pretty savvy with stuff around here. Right, let's crack on and see what's what. Maybe we'll spot something on M62, maybe we won't. But yeah, I'm very pleased we got lucky with that. I mean, another 5 or 10 minutes we wouldn't have got on this M1. So it is what it is. Right, I'll see you in a bit.
After half a mile, keep left onto M62 towards Manchester.
Right, we're just approaching the M62.
Keep left.
I did think I was going to get past him, but he's come to Brower Hill and he's suddenly found his momentum. That milk tanker must be quite heavy. He's pushing him like crazy down there. Right, one thing I forgot to mention is
onto M62 towards Manchester.
there's I had a little chat this morning. I won't say who with, but there could be a chance that pretty soon I might not be an agency driver anymore.
Onto M62 towards Manchester.
It's going to depend on a few factors of like what's going on with the business and projected increase in volume of traffic. But if all goes to plan, then yeah,
GPS signal lost.
I may well be in a position to get a permanent job with my own tractor unit,
The speed
so
limit is
which
50
is
miles per
basically what I
hour.
want. So we'll have to see how it goes. All I can do is sit and wait. At the moment, I would say the chances of this coming off are somewhere like 50-50. So it's not bad. I'm trying not to pin my hopes on it, but when it's something you would genuinely love, then yeah, it's difficult not to build your hopes up, which is something I have been guilty of in the past quite a bit. I should learn by my own mistakes, really, shouldn't I? So, and here we go again. It's dusk, the sun's gone down, it's starting to go dark. The camera will make it look lighter than it is, and we've got a lane hogger sat there, no lights on, and it's a taxi. You know, professional drivers. that's what they call themselves. And I don't care what I've got on back of here, his cargo's more precious than mine is, because it's human life. Honestly. But then, I had a guy last night, I'd just finished work in Cramlington, and I was turning onto the A1068, and the dual carriageway, across the first carriageway, I waits, I sees his car coming down. This is 4:30 in the morning, like, you know, and he's got his hazards on, and he's doing 40-50 mile an hour. I thought, something not right here. And he come past me, little white Clio, well, that comes out behind him, and he's slowing down. And he slowed down to about, like say, 35-40 mile an hour. It's 60 limit, so pulls out to overtake him. Whoosh, he swerved straight across the road. Well, obviously, I'm pretty quick on the brakes. We got the roundabout coming up. Left goes to Morpeth from Plessy Woods and all of that. Bedlington, which is the way I generally go home now. Right goes towards Blythe. So he's in left-hand lane, but I'm thinking I'm not going to go past him in case he pulls out on me again. Because I don't know whether he was pissed, he was just playing silly bastard to what. So he starts going out roundabout, still with his hazards on. So he's in left-hand lane, and I'm watching him, thinking, oh God, he's going to go the same way as me, like, you know, I'm going to be stuck behind him now. So, the very last minute, he's going for this same turning as me, and he must have been a couple of yards from the bollard in the road, and all of a sudden, whoosh, he goes right. Then off he goes, and I'm watching him weaving across this roundabout, you know, and I thought, no, he's got to have been pissed. All I can think of. But something else, you see, I was in my own car. Get it in your own car at night, like, you know what I mean? But I say, you'll see stupidity anytime, day or night on the road doing this job. But I've got to say, the ones at night, they take stupidity to a whole new level. Some of them, like, you know, it's like they make it an absolute art form. I mean, now it's getting pretty dark, and he's there in a dark coloured car when it's starting to go very dark. You know, you can't tell people, can you? You really can't. If I get close to him, I'll give him a flash, but I bet he ignores it. Either that, or he'll probably bloody brake check me or something. But, hey, what do I know? I say I just drive a truck. Well, it's 9 o'clock. And 9 o'clock is the start, my target time for getting on the M1. Well, 9 o'clock at the latest. So, right, let's give this guy a flash and see if he realises what I'm doing. He must be wondering what's he flashing at. Oh! You've realised. Clever boy. Watch him speed up now and try to overtake him. Well, I say, a different breed of stupidity. So, puts his lights on and suddenly finds a turn of speed. Unbelievable. Makes you wonder if they're not on the phones and that, doesn't it? How the hell do these people get a fucking taxi badge in the first place? I mean, I wouldn't trust him with a shopping trolley in Aldi. Anyway, right, I'm going to get off. It's going dark. There'll not be all else to see. Well, not unless something really unusual happens. So, thanks to subscribers, old and new. Thanks for your time watching. I'm going to get off, crack on, get to Rochdale, have my beef in black bean sauce. So, hey, that's still relatively healthy, don't knock it. I just fancied something a bit different for me tea. So, right, thanks again. If you can't be good, be careful. See you later.